Ooh. Well, first of all, I think this is going to load in a second, but I actually need to come out and quickly just grab the logo, guys. Sorry. Doing some resizing. Alright, the 2023 Kung Fu Cup season begins right now. In the bottom right-hand corner of this $1,500 weekly Open Cup, we have our Red Protoss player in round 1. Unfortunately, has a tough draw. His PvZ has been sharp lately. Let's see if it's good enough today. It is Creator. Taking on the blue Zerg in the upper left corner of the map from Basilisk, Reynor. Alright, game 1 of this best of 3, away we go. Let's see what is going to happen here as we have Reynor and Creator heading up against each other. An early probe blocks the natural hatchery, forcing Reynor off to the 3rd location. No surprises about that, no shocks, no horrors. That's kind of exactly what we expected to be to start off with. Couple drones mining away, probe pulling across to hell to get going. Just to be annoying at the very get-go here, so everything kind of as expected for now. Do you just see this Overlord heading down to the south side to get a bit of scout information as well, of course. Any sort of scout info just generally going to be very good and very positive for you, so Reynor just looking to pick up on what exactly Creator is doing here. Try and force him to make an early unit to perhaps deal with that Overlord as well. Otherwise, he'll pretty much just continue picking up free information all the way throughout this. So, one thing for us to maybe keep an eye on, as we do see our hatchery on that 3rd base location has already been finished up, and we do see the probe just going to move out from the main base down through the natural expansion, and just going to set up over here for a couple of moments as well. So, probe just going to go patrolling a little bit. Again, link speed, a few lings, a couple of queens, all coming out. A couple more drones also being produced right now. So just getting into a whole bunch of early game setup, along with the Stargate as well, which from Creator is obviously one of the very common things to be seeing. So absolutely no surprises in that regard either. You will see the link showing up to push the probe back. That allows you to take this hatchery, and you are now free to get that going for yourself. Is generally going to be a pretty decent positive as well. Adept makes its way to the northern side, and again, Stargate is about to finish up. We've got our link speed about halfway through now, too. Warp Gate about halfway along, and that Adept still moving up through the natural into the main base. Just going to shade through. Are we missing health bars? I think we are. Give me 1 second, guys. Just turn those on. Start the day. He was making a thumbnail earlier. Just, you know, just got to do the setup, you know, the little bits and pieces. Get back on track. Start of a full week of StarCraft 2. Obviously today, Kung Fu Cup, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, World Team League action. Then Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, Gamers Without Borders continues as players qualify into the biggest event of the year, Gamers 8. Just a busy week of StarCraft 2. Obviously, I'm going to be here 4 days on my stream. Across the weekend, I'll be working on the other stream for Gamers Without Borders. And then next week, we've got a whole bundle of WardiTV Cup, the Kung Fu Cup again. It's just busy again. We just got StarCraft pretty much all over the place right now, which is fantastic. I mean, how can you complain about that? StarCraft everywhere seems like, well, a good trade to me. I'll take it. Absolutely. It's just been an Oracle opening, a second on the way out as well. Sometimes Creator is quite creative with his Oracles and his Stargates, so I was kind of thinking that maybe he would sometimes open like a Void Ray first, or maybe even the Phoenix, but in this case he is just going to go multiple Oracles. The Overlord got very low but did get away. Without a Phoenix or a Void Ray, can't kill that off. The Lings catch both these Adepts out in the open. What a great catch that is. And suddenly these Lings are going to be able to put some pressure on the 3rd, maybe force an Oracle to activate. That's already energy, you know, utilized by the Protoss player that would have liked to have been used across the map. At the same time, there was an Oracle trying to fly through the bases of Reynor, but it looks like that was defended very easily as well. This Oracle up here didn't take too much damage, but is, you know, shield's gone. Flies back into these Queens, just looking for a stasis ward. But yeah, shield's gone, no kills. Great defense so far in the early game from Reynor, putting himself into a very good, strong starting position. Couple more warp-ins coming through. The Adept still building up. And our Robo facility is going to produce on the side of Creator as well as just getting that Robo now up and working. Adepts and an Oracle will move through the center, and we are going to walk straight into a group of Zerglings here. So a couple of Lings go down pretty much immediately. So Lings already falling, and now we get to continue pushing up the map, and we'll see if Creator can do anything. But honestly, off the back of losing a couple of Adepts early, plus losing some Oracle energy, and an Oracle not finding any damage itself, I really don't think there's going to be many openings to take here. As the Adepts try and shade through, the Lings will be there to kind of block. A couple more Queens coming over, and again, the Oracle just pushed away with immediate ease. No problem at all. Just push that back, get that out of here. Next is still being chrono boosted. Our Lings are going to run forward, and these Adepts are going to get fully surrounded. So, Adepts getting surrounded, Oracle activating to pick away at a few of those Lings as well. Overlord speed is going to be finishing in just a couple of moments. Again, Lings, Roaches, a Queen. All of this being brought out right now. Just going to be getting our Immortal. Chrono boosting out the Robo facility as well. And again, the Oracle's just coming over toward the Natural, just getting a Revelation down on that hatchery. It's going to be a pretty big deal, of course. Just keeping an eye on what's popping out. We actually see Reynor eyeing up the aggression. Dropper Lord's a finishing build, and he's going to bring the Queens in those. And he is going to get fully aggressive in the next few moments here, going across the map and looking to punish Creator for this early setup. Now, Creator has figured this out early. Cannons, batteries already on the way, and that is a huge step towards being able to hold this. Knowing it's happening is more than half of the battle a lot of the time against these builds. The Oracles will get one Ravager before the Queens even drop out. Can we make it two? In fact, where is the Queen's Dropper Lord? There it is. It's empty. Did we not bring any Queens at all? Is that in a further back Dropper Lord? Yeah, they're so far away. These Oracles having a wild time. Finally, the Queens are going to arrive. Finally, we can push these Oracles away a little bit, but all the Ravagers lost. Not a great start for Reynor at all. Yikes. Well, some force fields going down. I like this a lot for Creator. He's got the stack defense set up. He had some good initial pickoffs as well. In my eyes, he's done everything necessary to put himself in a very good position here to deal with this attack. And I do not think Reynor is going to have that great of a time as the first corrosive bile comes down, knocking down the force field. Lings are going to float on forward. Super Battery is going to pop. Adepts and Sentries are holding the front lines. Well, Queens continue to get some shots done. Just going to be seeing the Ravagers and the Lings continue to press forward. Zealots have to take a couple steps away too. Just seeing the entire army of Creator here setting up on that third base. Queens, Ravagers trying to knock their way through this group of units. Continue to press on forward. Charge is still about halfway done. +1 is coming up to finishing. We get some Lings to wrap around the Immortals on the ramp. Is that enough to get some kills here? Corrosive Biles are dodged as one Immortal keeps itself alive. The other does go down, surrounded by Zerglings. We're making progress on this third base. No reinforcements here in terms of Immortals or anything, just the Gateway Warpins, which are doing decently, but so far not enough. Going to turn around the other way again. Immortal getting chased around once more. Seeing a couple of Zealots continue to get chased, continue to take a lot of hits. Ravagers turning around once again, and Zealots still taking an absolute beating at the moment. Seeing our Queens and Ravagers pulling back over the left-hand side. A couple of Immortals on the right will try to come forward and see what they can do. And another Ravager is about to get picked off. Not quite, though. There we go. Two Ravagers do end up going down. I mean, this is nice. Creator is still holding this off, right? He's still buying himself the time necessary to be in a very good position. And it does look as though we are going to have ourselves Creator closing this out right now, because he's got charge, so the Zealots can come in the front to tank. The Ravagers are going down. The Lings are not going to be able to help him break through anymore. And I think Reynor is done on this attack. And if he's done on this attack, he's in a horrible position in this game, because he's down by 15 workers. He's down in upgrades. And he's absolutely down in tech. An Immortal Archon army is currently staring down a Ling Roach Ravager force. If there's even many Ravagers left over, Reynor gets a little shove forward again here. But in general, Creator is punching Reynor back. And now adding on more High Templars, more of those Archons, soak up the Lings. We've got a fourth base in the bottom corner too, and Creator really does just have everything he needs to close out the first map of the day in the return of the Kung Fu Cup. Amazing stuff as we just see a couple of Roaches and Ravagers still wandering around just that little bit. Just at this stage, really, Creator should just get a bit more builder, maybe secure that fourth base a little, and then just go. He's really in a position where he's got the tech units. I guess the only fear is that Reynor just makes another massive round of units and then attacks instead of trying to drone from this, in which case it is better to be defensive. It's very hard to obviously make that read, as that drop lord is going to go down. Only one of the queens got out. The others fell into the chasm below. That's going to be just an additional pickoff in favor of Creator. Reynor supply blocked as well coming out of that, and this looks as though we're going to have ourselves absolutely the Creator victory to start the day. The 1-0 lead going to be his. Some more Vials, Immortals getting shots. See a couple of Ravagers going down, Roaches getting shoved around, Zelds will continue forward and turn back and kind of think about going towards that hatchery. Now we're going to turn back into this. Roaches and Ravagers still getting dumped. GG says Reynor, because that will do it. That's going to be our first map of the day. Going the way of Creator. Solid defense, really figured it out early, and knowing about it early allowed him to do everything needed to take this first. It's just super unheard of. So with that said, let's dive into our map number 2. And get into it. In the top left-hand corner, our Red Protoss player here is Creator. He is up 1. Solid defense to start off the series. In the bottom right corner, we do have the Blue Zerg player from Basilisk. It is Reynor. Game number 2 of our best of 3, and it is just a best of 3 here today, guys. Best of 3 all the way through the tournament until the round of 2, aka the Grand Finals. Yeah, in the finals we swapped to the best of 5 just for the final, and that is our day of StarCraft 2. Like I say, I mean, with the players that we've got, it's going to be an amazing day, and it's definitely not going to be a short one. Got a lot of players signed up as well. Turns out you put a crap ton of money on the line and let anyone play, and you get a pretty gosh darn good turnout, right? Yes, absolutely. Alright, well, Probe going to move up in toward the main base, have a little bit of a scout around there. So yeah, hatch our gas and our spawning pool coming up too. A couple more drones on the way. And yo, thank you so much, Calorf1. How you doing for the 22-month resub? Just caught up with all the Korean Royale. That was awesome. Back to live cast for me. Hell yeah. The Korean Royale was awesome. We had so many good games. The playoffs were great. It was really, really fun. Glad you enjoyed, mate. By the way, guys, the last couple of days of the Korean Royale crowdfunder is still ongoing. If you want to check it out, !Korea. That Season 2 will be coming later this year, and hopefully we can pin out a Season 3 at some point this year as well. Fingers crossed. Probe just being an annoyance here as we're 2 minutes into the PvZ, and once again, as always in this matchup, it feels like not much has really happened. This is just a setup, the Probe blocks the natural, and beyond that, we're waiting for the Cybercore to finish so we can talk about what kind of tech we're going to be seeing, because that's pretty much all that's going on for now. There's not a lot happening. A very peaceful start, and for some reason I was zoomed in on a mineral line, lost my observer, and I was just left behind there, stranded. Twilight Council going to be the choice here from Creator, so an immediate Twilight Council, not a Stargate into something else. As our Warp Gate gets started up, the Ling speed is coming up to being about halfway done from Reynor. The hatchery starting on that natural as well. With that Resonating Glaive, sorry, it's obviously going to be having quite a bit of potential to, perhaps be able to put some pressure on. Expect that Glaives to hit early, and obviously this is straight up just Glaives. We're expecting, with the Robo down as well, probably just all 4 gateways Prism. Going from there, the alternative could potentially be like 3 gates of Glaives into like the Robo Bane, the Disruptor drop, for example. That is one thing that can happen. That's one thing that's used a fair amount still as well. Creator has enjoyed Disruptor drops in general lately, so maybe that is something we can watch for, but kind of feel like we're going to see all 4 gates, and there they are. Still waiting on our Glaives, just getting to the final few moments here. And the Dark Shrine coming up, a few extra gates coming in, Prism also still just on the way out. This couple of devs are going to Shade back to the front. Queens, Lings, all coming up for now. That's going to be a spore cancelling, as I think Reynor recognizes a little bit of what's actually coming his way, so not going to have to play too safe here or anything. As the Glaze gets finished, he will need the spores for the Dark Shrine follow-up, though, so that is the next step of this out of Creator. That is likely going to be very, very dangerous if Reynor is not properly prepared, but looks like he's starting up spores now. He didn't need one initially, but having some later is absolutely still, like I say, in this case, necessary, so it's just trying to be as effective and efficient as possible with his timings. Will hence continue forwards, and like you say, he's going to get himself just initial setup for the defense. The Queens now they catch the Prism, goes low on shields, well, no shields, and takes a little bit of HP damage as well. Adepts continue to chase around. Drone's going to be running around in the circle on this hatchery, having to stay backed away for the moment, and well, the Prism actually will go down. The DTs will reveal themselves. Now it's just a question of having, you know, detection in the right places. Well, we have the spores, it's just, yeah, get back to those spores. Without the Prism, it's going to be minimal what you can really do in terms of where the DTs can go and everything, so don't think Creator's really going to find much here, and this has really not done anything. Prism dies, okay, he didn't really lose anything, and he killed 2 Queens. Obviously, I mean, not the Prism, he didn't lose any units. The couple of Queens, I feel like really isn't that bad for trade. Essentially, if you consider that a trade for the Prism, I think you're very okay, because by killing the Prism, you basically negate further Adept damage, you basically negate potential further DT damage as well. Final finishing up on the 3rd, we will see a few Adepts still just lurking around from Creator, but not doing much. Again, one more creep team at the front there, and just seeing our Nexus and everything continue to get set. +1 missiles, our Baneling Nest, all coming in. Alright, Devs just continue through for a little bit more creep spread as well. That's one thing that Creator has been doing, even with a DT, just knocking down a creep team or so is really very effective. It really slows down what Reynor can see on the map. It really will slow down how comfortable he will feel on the map as well. So, in general, I like this a lot. I think Creator's still playing well. I don't think the start was brilliant for him, don't get me wrong, but doing the right things to give him good chances further down the line. Giving himself the best possible chances, in fact, further down the line here. Stalker pinging overall taking damage, and the hallucination just getting poked away. But just kind of pressing forward, not really going to connect to anything here or commit to anything here. Just kind of testing the water of what he can get done as he makes an initial step forward or so. Yo, Soup Sandwich Og, thank you. Soup Sandwich OG, thank you so much for the Og. Thank you so much for the Prime sub. Appreciate it. Welcome to the stream today. Devs continue over the left-hand side. Ling's just going to run straight in. A couple of probes go down pretty much immediately, and the Archons continue through over to the right as well, so just keeping things pushed away. More DT still coming out. Prism +1, the charge. All being brought into play here as the Ling's going to run straight in and grab ourselves a surround on these Adepts. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nope, just the 3, but forces the Shade backward as well. Rest of our Lings around the left side. So Reynor just being very active on the map, really negating any opportunity that Creator might have to potentially sneak in, get some damage here or there, or anything along those lines basically. A little bit of extra creep comes further out to the left-hand side. Ling Roach Ravager. Now working our way through the right side, just going to knock down that set of rocks, open up this little bit of space, get up the ramp, and potentially move in. Try and deal some damage. Lings and Roaches come across, Stalk's taking some shots. Banelings continue over the right side as well. go. A few Banelings rolling forwards. If the Banes can get rid of the chunk of this, then obviously the Ling Roach Ravage can really deal with everything else. And so far, that's kind of what's happening. These Banes making it pretty far forward. However, the Archons are going to end up surviving and making a decent stand. And obviously a few Immortals too. That's the right kind of set of units to have left alive at the end of this. We didn't really kill a big chunk of probes either. Without killing a big chunk of probes, this perhaps is a problem then for Reynor, as we do start up a huge round of additional Ling Bane. But yeah, without really dealing any damage, you're committed on 66 drones, and now you just got to go and hope that round 2 finds something, because round 1 definitely wasn't effective enough. First Banes crash in, Stalkers take a bit of damage. Blinking out, of course, is their power right now. They can escape away at a moment's notice and can be very cost efficient, of course. And well, of course, we'll try and buy some more time. Can we stop these Banes hitting the mineral line? Most of them. There's one Baneling left. It goes for a few extra probes in the corner. Okay, unfortunately, no +2 melee. I mean, no melee upgrades at all. With +2 melee, that would have been a lot of dead work, as we do see Creator still warping in some additional reinforcements here. No biles left to really hit the Zealots that were warping in there. Guaranteed hits, of course, during, on warping in units. And it is actually going to be Creator to start chasing Reynor away. This push forward, this attempted bust through, has not worked out, as we see the Stalkers continue to chase a Ravager back. The Ling's getting turned around as well. And Creator is going to hold again here against Reynor. And this is becoming worse and worse for Reynor, as Creator will have more and more tech online. He's got Colossus as well. Work count from Reynor has never really been brilliant either, so he's not suddenly, like, running away with this game. And as Creator counterattacks, he might be able to do just some very serious damage here. He has some good opportunities to just come through and to close this out. I mean, he's just going to go straight into the natural expansion. A couple of DTs mixed in. He's going to use the Prism, of course, to micro the Colossus and the Immortals to as safe a position as possible. Even a Spore coming forward to just try and take some attention. We do cross a bar one Immortal down. The Prism escapes with the Colossus, perhaps afraid of that Spore Crawler. Now the Colossus is going to have to just survive. It's going to die. He couldn't pick it up in the Prism because the Prism was getting biled down. He did get the warping of Stalkers, but this has not worked out for Creator. This dash across the map has been a bit of a fumble, honestly, for him, and he is going to lose out big time. And suddenly Reynor might be into the driver's seat and in the winner's seat of this game number 2. He is going to drop the 1-1 scoreline, and we are going to see game 3 between Creator and Reynor here today. Honestly, 2 of my favorite tournaments I've ever covered, Kung Fu Cup and World Team League. Both just fantastic things. I mean, Kung Fu Cup especially is one that I used to do every single... It used to be a Thursday, I believe, the Kung Fu Cup, and for me, it was one of those tournaments that was around when I was really kind of taking a big step forward into, casting, for example. So, just very excited to be able to just bring it, have it come back in a new form, bigger and better than ever. It really is. So, yeah, I mean, for me, Kung Fu Cup was always just such a solid, way to find games and a way to cast every week. Amazing that we have it here again. As in the top right corner, time to actually intro some players, though, and get this series wrapped up. It is going to be the Red Protoss. This is Creator. He takes on the blue Zerg in the bottom left from Basilisk, Reynor. Again, these tournaments are going to be important for those players looking to farm some WTL points to earn themselves a qualification into the Masters Coliseum later this year. I believe that will be in August, actually, so that's going to be fun. August is starting to look stacked with events, by the way. My calendar started filling out for August the other day. A couple different tournaments getting into place and stuff, so very, very cool. Hey, what's up, Merhem? Thank you so much for the 52-month resub. Hope I'm having a great day. I'm having a pretty darn good day so far. There we go. Yeah, so far so good. Watching some StarCraft, great first match. What more can we ask for, What more can we ask for? It's going to be seeing this probe coming around the back, just being a little bit annoying. Nexus, Cybercore, all of this coming through a simulator as well. We do just have ourselves, yeah, just all of this kind of already on the way in, so kind of as expected for the moment. Again, just waiting for that kind of 2:15 marker where we see the first tech structure here and can really see what kind of game we're going to play. Would really be surprised to see Creator coming back to a, Twilight Council again. It really got shut down hard in that last game. He really found nothing at all with it. It was kind of not great. That said, he obviously was on the verge of winning, honestly, still. So, I mean, don't say that the Twilight Council can't work. It's just, he wasn't meant to be in a great position off the start. He definitely wasn't in a great position off the start. That was almost certain. You have Twilight Council going down. So he is going to try it again. We'll see what he does this time. Of course, there are variations you can use here. There is not one single guaranteed way that is going to be the absolute best to play out this Twilight Council, like the 4-gate glaives. It can be multiple different things as well. So keeping that in mind, the options really are open to you as creator. And maybe he has a different way of setting up. Or maybe he's just happy to go 4-gate glaives again and thinks he can make some adjustments to make it work a little bit better off this time around. Adept comes over and gets a couple shots onto the third base hatch, which is obviously built on the natural location. The initial hatchery on the natural got blocked, of course. Typical sequencing of events here when it comes to PvZ. Robotics facilities building up on the side of Creator. The resonating glaives also coming out. Seeing a couple of gateways going down at the moment as well. So again, those gates set up, everything being brought in for the moment. Is the bracket correct? It says Kyo versus Dark, Maxpax versus Gumiho, and Hero versus Oliveira on other sites. Which other sites would those be? Because this bracket is the official bracket. Maybe you're looking at a different tournament or something? The bracket in the chat is the official bracket players are using to find out who their opponents are, so definitely correct. You have our glaives just coming up to finishing, by the way. A couple of adepts still coming through, and just seeing them continuing to shade around, see if there is potential for damage here or there or anywhere. Rotoron is about to finish up, and as the Rotoron finishes, our first 5 roaches will begin producing, so out we go with them. Those first 5 roaches on the way, and a couple more adepts coming through too. Gonna get ready to push at the frontier. All of these adepts coming straight forward. First Queen's already under fire. Well, that was just Queens. Queens defended, guys. You didn't need anything else, apparently. Obviously, the Roachling was threatening the Adept shade positioning, so it means that they can't shade. So there is a reason your other units were not at the front there as Reynor, but let's just be able to push that back and clean that out. We do see the Adepts going forward, trying to grab a Queen, not quite able to just yet. Roaches and Queens continue to come back across, continue to push away. Next it goes on the third base. And that's going to be seeing our Spore getting set up as well. It's just going to get that in position for the moment. Things coming around. Immortal's still producing. And Deb's just coming forward, getting rid of a couple more creep tumors. And Ling's still getting us around there, just shoving that prism around. See now there, and our missiles still producing as well. Extra drones also on the way in. Failing Nest as well from Reynor. We are seeing him go into that +1 missiles again. We didn't see him with those melee upgrades in the previous game. Obviously, when you're kind of committed to the attack timings, going into the, melee, there's not really time for that to really take effect in this game. Going to focus on missiles again. We'll see if he does get aggressive at any point. Blair did finish, by the way. Roach speed started. For a moment, we started Burrow, but that seemed like a misclick. As the Adepts will come forward. A Queen already coming through. A couple of Roaches going down as well. Blink +1, Mortal on the way, a couple extra gateways coming out. We do see our Adepts in the center pushing those Lings back around, chasing them back over the right-hand side. Prism will come to the far left and be ready to try and go harassing, obviously, so far. We've had units lost just be 7 Adepts and a decent amount of units, I guess, from Reynor, a couple of Queens especially going down. Steps will just go attacking that 6 o'clock base, so working their way through there. The hallucinations flying through the main. Actually, be able to do some really serious damage to this base. Obviously, the Adept Shade away. They don't want to take the bigger fight, but that base is now lower and easier target for further down the line. So that's something we'll keep our eyes on, of course. See if it comes into play. The fact that that's just going to be low HP hatchery. Second Robo facility in the Robo Bay. There's the continuation here from Creator. So already deciding kind of just where he takes this next step to be. At Robo Bay and Robo Facility, just sort of saying, hey, look, you know, we're going to be aiming straight towards the potential tech up into, well, Disruptors are an option. Obviously, Colossi are pretty common nowadays as well, and hitting some kind of Colossus timing has been pretty popular, especially from the Korean Protoss players. It's not something, I guess MaxPax does a fair amount in Europe. It's not something Showtime does as much, but MaxPax, Korean Protoss, they've been enjoying that a lot. Prism tries to get into the natural. Reynor, 65 workers, very similar attack to what we saw in the last game. It looks like he's just going to go for it again, ready to burst. Obviously, Robo Bay tech not online just yet. Tech units in general from Creator, 3 Immortals, no Archons this time. First Force Field getting busted down. The Banelings do find the Super Battery. First Immortal's already dead. This is not looking pretty. The few Banes in the back probably could have gone better off, you know, a little bit more into the mineral line and maybe found a little bit more valuable a target than what they did, but we've done very well here anyway. All the Immortals are dead. Now, there's some Adepts on the other side that Reynor will have to deal with. I'd love to see these Banes. I don't think they need to go after these Stalkers. Just go bust down this mineral line ASAP. And again, maybe you don't need to because the Roach Ravager is going to work your way through it anyways. And Reynor is taking some damage. These drones on the other side. Remember, Reynor's economy isn't great, so him taking worker damage is a big slowdown. It puts him into a rough position. And that's one thing we have to keep in mind here, that any amount of damage Reynor was taking is really detrimental because he just wanted to spam another round of units and go, go, go. That is no longer possible. And I actually think a Creator's made enough of a defense here to just kind of be very happy at the moment. Yeah, I think this is actually great for Creator. Defended, damage across the map. Reynor made a few more drones before deciding to go back into the unit production. The Zealot gets blown up by Disrupt. He's going to charge for the natural, but not going to find a way in over there. It is a full wall off. It is protected properly. Ravager coming through. Actually going to try and target down this Disruptor. We just get it in time. Big moment. He does not want to lose a whole chunk of Ravagers like that. Reynor's kind of already playing on the edge and is seemingly saying that he doesn't have a way to end this game. Hence the melee upgrade. Now setting up for the future. Disruptor shot doesn't quite connect to Reynor. Working with the position, and he does get Banes onto the third base. 14 probes going down, so finding some damage. Now Creator's army supply is kind of going to have to do something because his worker count is now weak. 20 workers behind. I think his army right now is very good, though. But turning around and being able to grab the Disruptor is a great start for Reynor. Some Lings coming up to the front. The Stalkers, though, are going to blink, surround the Ravagers. No escape for you guys. And every single Ravager will go down. That is a huge expense to rebuild, and one that I don't think Reynor can really afford. He does not have gas in the bank. His fourth base going to get finished off here. We saw it brought low earlier by the few Adepts. And now these Stalkers just continuing. A couple of Banes getting picked away at. Lings coming through. And as the Banelings crash in, this is pretty much just going to be a complete and total cleanup. As our Stalkers will continue after a whole chunk of these drones. Creator is going to take it, and he is going to win this out. 2-2-1. GG's. Reynor eliminated in the first round.